Love across balconies, the old apartment building in Seville, Spain, hummed with the rhythm of life. Each evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of orange and rose, the building's residents would emerge onto their balconies, seeking respite from the day's heat. Among them were two souls whose connection transcended words, woven instead through melodies and movement. He was a musician, a dreamer named Raphael. His balcony, adorned with potted geraniums and trailing vines, was his stage. Every evening, he would bring out his worn guitar, its wood polished smooth from years of loving use, and fill the air with music. His songs were a blend of traditional flamenco and modern ballads, each note infused with passion and longing. Across the narrow street, on the opposite balcony, lived Isabella. Her balcony was simpler, adorned only with a few flowering plants, but it was her presence that transformed it into a haven of beauty. She was a dancer, her movements as fluid and graceful as the Guadalquivir River that flowed through the city. Their connection began subtly. Raphael noticed Isabella watching him, her eyes sparkling with appreciation as he played. He would smile at her, and she would return the gesture, a shy but genuine smile that warmed his heart. Soon a routine developed. As Raphael began to play, Isabella would emerge onto her balcony, and she would dance. She danced to his music, her body interpreting the emotions he poured into each note. Sometimes her movements were fiery and passionate, mirroring the intensity of the flamenco rhythms. Other times, they were gentle and flowing, reflecting the tenderness of his ballads. She was his muse, and he was her soundtrack. They never spoke. The street was too wide, the distance too great. Besides, there was a certain magic in their unspoken connection. Words, they felt, would only complicate things. Their communication was through music and dance, a language of the soul that needed no translation. Raphael learned to anticipate Isabella's moods. If she seemed sad, he would play a melancholic tune, hoping to soothe her spirit. If she was joyful, he would strum an upbeat melody, encouraging her to twirl and leap with abandon. He watched her closely, studying her movements, her expressions, her every nuance. He was falling in love with her, note by note, dance by dance. Isabella, too, was captivated by Raphael. His music stirred something within her, a longing for connection and a yearning for something more. She loved the way his fingers danced across the strings of his guitar, the way his eyes closed as he sang, the way his music filled the air with beauty and emotion. She felt like she knew him, even though they had never exchanged a single word. One evening, as Raphael was tuning his guitar, he had an idea. He decided to write a song for Isabella, a song that would express the feelings he had been harboring for so long. He spent hours crafting the lyrics, pouring his heart and soul into each verse. He wanted to tell her how much she inspired him, how her presence brightened his days, how he longed to know her beyond their balconies. The next evening, as Isabella took her place on her balcony, Raphael took a deep breath and began to play. The melody was haunting and beautiful, a blend of flamenco and ballad that was uniquely his own. As he sang, his voice trembled with emotion. "Isabella," he sang, his voice carrying across the street, "your dance is the sunlight that brightens my day. Your smile is the moon that guides me at night. I long to know you, to hold you, to love you, beyond the space that separates our balconies." As he sang her name, Isabella gasped. Tears welled up in her eyes, blurring her vision. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. He had written a song for her, a song that expressed everything she had been feeling. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever heard. When the song ended, Raphael looked up at Isabella, his eyes filled with hope and trepidation. She was standing there, tears streaming down her face, her hand pressed against her heart. For a moment, they simply stared at each other, their emotions hanging in the air between them. Then, Isabella did something unexpected. She turned and disappeared into her apartment. Raphael's heart sank. He had dared to express his feelings, and she had rejected him. He was a fool to think that their balcony romance could ever become something more. But just as he was about to pack away his guitar, he saw Isabella emerge from her building. She was crossing the street, her eyes fixed on him, her steps determined. Raphael's heart leaped with joy. She was coming to him. He rushed down the stairs and out onto the street, meeting her halfway. As they stood face to face for the first time, they were both speechless. The distance that had separated them for so long had finally vanished. "Raphael," Isabella said, her voice barely a whisper, Your song, ... It was beautiful, Isabella, he replied, his voice trembling. I had to tell you how I feel. They stood there for a moment, gazing into each other's eyes, their hearts overflowing with emotion. Then, without a word, Raphael reached out and took Isabella's hand. Together, they walked back to his apartment, their fingers intertwined, their love story finally beginning beyond their balconies. Inside, Raphael poured them each a glass of wine, and they sat on his balcony, watching the stars twinkle above them. They talked for hours, sharing their dreams, their fears, their hopes for the future. They discovered that they had so much in common, so many shared passions and values. As the night drew to a close, Raphael took Isabella in his arms and kissed her. It was a kiss that was both tender and passionate, a kiss that sealed their fate, a kiss that promised a lifetime of love and happiness. From that day forward, their balconies became a symbol of their love, a reminder of the unique and beautiful way they had found each other. Every evening, they would sit together on Raphael's balcony, listening to music, dancing, and watching the sunset. And sometimes, Raphael would sing Isabella's song. It's a song that had brought them together. It's a song that had bridged the gap between their balconies and united their hearts forever.